why does it seem like we can't have nice things in America? Right? And by nice things, I don't mean flying cars or laundry that does itself. I mean nice things like truly universal, guaranteed, affordable health care. Nice things like universal child care and paid family leave, and wages that keep workers out of poverty, a well-funded public school in every neighborhood, right? World-class infrastructure in the country that used to have infrastructure that was the envy of the world, a rational, aggressive, innovative, and timely response to the existential threat of global climate change. Like, those are the nice things that I would love for this society, with all of its promise, all of its ingenuity, all of its wealth, to be able to provide for its people. So many of our peer economies have been able to figure out solutions to these big dilemmas, the inequality in our economy and our democracy and climate change, sometimes looking to our past for the answers. And yet we're just not making enough progress fast enough on so many of these obvious, glaring problems. And so I hit the road, and I ended up taking a journey that would take me from California to Mississippi to Maine and back again multiple times. Despite the carbon offsets, I have to say I flew, I drove. At the height of the pandemic, my husband and my infant son and I piled into an RV. We were in search of the answer to the question, why does it seem like we can't have nice things? Why? Not how, because I was enough of a student of economic history and economic policy to know how we had entered headlong into this era that I call the inequality era. How we had gone from an era of shared prosperity, where our economy, since I don't really love PowerPoint, I'm going to just use my hands, used to look like a football, right? With a kind of fat middle class in the middle, and narrow ends of high and low income households on either side. And now it looks more like a bow tie, with a squeezed middle class and bulging ends of high and low income households, right? I knew how we had done that. I knew about the changes in tax policy and trade policy, the loss of collective bargaining rights, globalization and technological change, deregulation. I knew all about that, but I didn't understand why. Why would a country that had figured out the formula for something we coined the American dream have turned its back on that formula, so that now countries like the UK have their citizens having a better shot at the American dream of intergenerational mobility than we do? Why? So the first leg of my journey took me deeply intellectually into some research areas that I wasn't really as familiar with. I had not studied. And it was really more about the social sciences, right? Social psychology, sociology, political science. And it was there that I got into a field of research that identified a worldview in the US that is predominant. And it's the zero-sum worldview. It's the idea that there's sort of a fixed pie of well-being. And if one group gets a bigger slice, the other group must get a smaller slice. And according to the research, this is a majority worldview in the US. And they say that it's actually racialized. Racialized in two ways. One, in that the people who see our society as a zero-sum game, right, where there's sort of no mutual progress, $1 more in my pocket must mean $1 less in yours, that they see that it's racial and ethnic groups who are competing for those slices of the pie, who are competing for sort of status and dominance and belonging.